Hi, thank you for joining me, Wendy Anderson, justbe.me. So, notice that we're coming up today. So, Kyron seems to be coming up. So, the wounded healer was coming up with the herbal medicinal properties of dandelion. So, dandelion is a really beautiful plant. You can use all of it. I love to make coffee out of the dandelion root. So you pull them up, wash them all off, cut them all up, stick them in the oven for a bit until it goes all kind of dry and crusty. Put it in a grinder, and then you can make dandelion coffee. Absolutely amazing. It's a diuretic. So this time of year, it's always good to have a little bit of a detox, a clear out, a cleanse. So for those of you that are dealing with relationship things, you're on the path where you are having some really difficult decisions to be made at the moment. So you may have relationships that are toxic, they no longer nourish you, and you will be symptomatic, you will have physical symptoms no matter what you do, nothing will treat it, hence Kyron. Because he was the wounded healer that continued to be in pain after healing his friend, which ironically that's what a lot of you are learning about self-healing. So there'll be choices to be made about relationships. You can choose to continue to be in that toxic relationship. One is to recognize that it is toxic. So you may have been in that relationship where your emotions, feelings, your voice will have not been heard. It will have been cancelled out, gaslit in some way for your truth. So Joan of Arc was coming in as well, truth teller. And you will have, from this transaction, learned how to not trust how you feel. So you will be feeling, drained, tired, toxic, symptomatic, and you may not fully have an understanding of why you feel that way. And it will be because you're sharing your energy. So we've got this toroidal field all the way around us. Your aura can be 2 meters wide. If you're putting it out there, if you've had an empath, narcissistic relationship in your family. So it's to bring it in. It's to bring that energetic field in, to take the breath to bring it in. So when we breathe, it kind of brings in. When we take that time to just close our eyes and just be within ourselves, it brings that auric field back in to be the self-healer. So what we are actually doing when we do this is literally going, I know my worth. And I am expressing my worth. I am taking the time in this breath, in this moment, to connect back into my worthiness. So when we hold the subconscious belief, and it will be subconscious, you won't be consciously aware that you may have a belief of, I do not deserve to be well. So can we shift it up in that moment of taking the breath, taking time out for ourselves? I deserve to be well. 100%, 1,000% give it. Whatever you want to give it, own it. It is into being, it is so, it is done. I deserve 100% good health. Because what will happen is you can throw everything at your healing. You can throw herbals at it, homeopathy at it, bio, pharmaceuticals, and this video probably won't go through now I've kind of mentioned that. I should call it a different name. So what I'll do is I'll use a different name for that in future. Let's call it, what can we call it? I'll call it the other herbals, and then you'll know. So if this video doesn't post, that's the reason why. I'll have to re-record it without that wording and redo it all again. So I'll call it the other form of herbals that are not natural, the unnatural herbals, shall we say. You can literally throw everything at it, nothing is working, nothing is healing it. And it's purely down to the Kyron, the wounded healer, that you are taking on board other people's energy continuously because you are not choosing you. So this comes back to the chosen ones. So the chosen ones aren't chosen by any exterior forces, any exterior God force energy, like God goes, I'm choosing you to be a chosen one. It's kind of like, that's not how this works. It works by choosing ourselves. So you are on a path of learning, and the learning is to turn up and choose you. When you do that, you heal you. And it's coming back to that belief system of worthiness, of I deserve good health, I deserve to feel loved, I deserve to be respected. But the only place that you are ever going to find those things is from within you. The minute we look for that externally and try to find those things from another human being who may not be in a capacity of availability to give us those things, you are literally self-sabotaging yourself. And this is the big program. I feel at the moment that some of us may have already faced this field, but collectively in a real big way, this is a big healing. And again, this is why the planet may feel like it's going through a division pattern at the moment. So those that are turning up for self and doing the practices to say, do you know what, I am worthy of receiving divine love, of receiving divine abundance, whatever it is, because the love will help heal you as well. You are made from pure frequency love. So it stands to reason when you call in that love and you are fully in receiving it because you know you are worthy of it, heals anything and everything. However, if you have got a subconscious belief from potentially a narcissistic parent or relationship, it will be there that you do not feel worthy of all those things that you do deserve naturally. But what we've done is we've been the seeker of it in those others. And because of their own journey, they cannot give what is not there. In the laws of charity, you have to receive it in order to give it. And if they're not doing the practices and turning up for themselves, then they simply cannot turn up for you. But to honour their contract, their soul contract that they came in with, for you to experience it and for you to learn about it, to learn to witness how it appears to not turn up for oneself. Because they will just literally drain your life force out of you and drain the love out of you. They will demand all day long. And you've got it because you're doing the practices. But it gets to the point that you cannot do enough practices to sustain the level that these other people may require. And you may have not just one person like this in your life that's draining you. You may have several. So just check in, how am I feeling around certain individuals? It's okay to place a boundary, and if you continue and choose to be around them, and that's okay, it's all choice, it's a free will planet, but you will be low in life force energy, and you then will have to tackle physical symptoms, energy loss, skin irritations, fatigue, headaches, liver problems, kidney problems, urinary infections, general aches and pains in the musculoskeletal system. You may feel it in the hips. I'm unlovable program, so shift it up. I am lovable, actually. Shift it up. You get to choose and take responsibility for your beingness. And I've noticed there is kind of like an energy of victimhood. Is blaming the other for how we are turning up. Yes, they will have an impact on you, your programs, and your energy, but ultimately it's for you to be here in this now of self-mastery, to be the creator you were created to be, and then choose how you want to feel, how you want to engage, how you want to think. The mind is a powerful organ. You get to program it. Don't allow others to program it in their own field of unworthiness. and being around them, you will take on some of their programmed ways of being, unless they come into their space of owning it and also see they also have the opportunity for self-mastery. However, once you step back, you will witness them kind of like being really weak in their energy. So then they may lash out of you if you get back into their field. You will not know from one day to the next how they're going to turn up. 1 minute they'll be nasty, 1 minute they'll be nice, and you kind of like, don't know where I'm standing here. So you want to come in on eggshells. But what you're actually doing in there is being manipulative yourself. And there's no judgments in any of this. Just accept where you are and the journey you're on. We're all human and having human experiences. There's no right, wrong, good or bad in it. It just is. But trust how you feel in the body right now. So the other choice is to have a real strong boundary and choose not to engage in this relationship, or to choose as little as possible. And even if you do have to, or feel that you want to still engage in that relationship, the other choice is to literally not invest in that person, is to literally, I don't care how they're feeling, I don't care what's going on in their life, and not give anything away what's going on in your life. There's not a lot else, so it's kind of like there's not a lot else to talk about after that, and they want to know what's going on in your life so they can use it against you later. You're an empath, so you're kind of like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? No, none of that. So it's literally around them you will need to have to turn up completely differently. If you are able and you've got the strength to do that and to not have that level of engagement, then that's amazing and you are so strong. You may need some time out, some time away from this person to get into that strength of being able to turn up. And the other choice is, because this is a planet of free will, the other choice is to kind of like, I completely close the door on this person. I cannot engage. I cannot. And again, it is because I've turned up in a certain way of being, of investing and engaging in this person. And you may find yourself getting back into that routine with that person. And when you don't turn up in that routine of that person, they'll get nasty. So it's to protect your life force energy, which is the most precious thing ever right now. So I have witnessed people who haven't been able to make the decision to completely close the door. And shall I say, some of those people are not here with us on this planet right now. So they're the ones that are going young. So it literally is, if you cannot turn up in that capacity of completely uninvested and you're used to caring, then the only other choice is to literally close the door on these relationships and just engage in the nutritional ones. That is the only choice left to do that. And if we don't, then our life force energy will be depleted. And those that have already left in this capacity because they haven't been able, and this ain't a fear thing of, do you know what, you cut off everyone, otherwise you'll die. You'll not have a fear of dying anyway if you're tuned in, tapped in and connected. It doesn't really matter. And there are those of us that have already left in order to pave the way for the rest of us, to give us strength in decision making and choices. Okay, so they're oversouling. So the ones that have already... So the planet is going to get down to just under 5 billion. And when I started asking this question, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, it was about 7.5 billion. So that's how many have left. But what I'm told is they are back. But you're saying, well, where have they gone? There's not enough physical forms, not enough bodies for these souls. So these souls are oversouling. So there will be even children. So, okay, how can I put this? Right. So if you've had, say, somebody passing and they've still had something to learn and they've passed without fully learning or what they're meant to learn here. And this is how beautiful it is. So this is why, because if we pull back from that person as well, we are actually, what we are allowing them to do is for them to reconnect with themselves and tie their own shoelaces for meeting their own needs rather than us meeting their needs. So you're actually doing them a service, you're doing them a favour, you're also helping and facilitating them in their soul contract of taking self-responsibility. So stepping back is also serving them. The reason that we don't step back from relationships sometimes is a fear I can't trust myself in just not showing up in that engaged state of being, because I'm a caring person. And two, it's fear of what would it look like not having that person in my life. Now, if you're drained by this person, it's a no-brainer, really, decision-making wise. Some of you that have had less contact with toxic situations and relationships, and you've had time out of it, you may be feeling an urge to visit a certain parent or person. And this may be an opportunity in your contract, in your field, to make a decision. Because right now you may be sitting on the fence around this person, but that last interaction or that engagement may allow you to energetically cut the cords, cut the tides fully. And this may be part of your contract to allow them to be on their own, to turn up for themselves. So then you both learn independently rather than having this codependent relationship. So that might be something that is coming up in your field at the moment, to go visit them if you haven't seen them for many years, for closure in the contract. So endings in those soul contracts. So again, this is coming up, endings in soul contracts. We've all put our hand up and chosen it. You've put your hand up before you incarnate and said, yeah, I want a parent or a friend or a lover like that. That's turned up in that capacity in order so I can choose me. I can now put myself first. I now make my life force the most precious thing ever, which is you reconnecting to your soul at soul level. So you may feel guilt around separating yourself from some of these relationships as well. And that will come up in the body, the eyes, or it may come up somewhere else in the body. It's to forgive oneself. So Jesus was also coming up in this. So he brings in the energy of forgiveness. So it's to forgive oneself because it's all part of the contract and part of the deal. You stepping back isn't you actually being a bad person. And this will come up in one of your vertebrae. I think it's the end of your thoracic, which is kind of like not the bottom of your spine, but the bottom of mid-spine, or the very top of your lumbar spine. So it will come up in one of those vertebrae here if you're still trying to show up a good person because you need validation from this relationship. It's validation of oneself now. Choose oneself. I validate me by choosing me and showing up for me. We could also put systems and practices into place where we could literally take time out from our day where we service oneself, so to speak. And that could be a daily discipline of choice. Movement is really good for moving emotions through the body. And just checking in with oneself. Breathwork, whatever it is, that the tools that you have and tools that you may have learned or been drawn to, get them out of the bag and use them. They will really serve you really well right now. So other guides coming in, hope. This is really important. If we don't have hope, again, our life force will be depleted. So hope in that I can be successful. So hope is an energy that we know we are supported in every now. Hope isn't really about asking for an outcome to come out. It's literally, hope is know that I am supported in every now, no matter what is happening. So whatever decision and choice you make, you know that